Sylvester Stallone is an American actor, screenwriter, producer, and director with a net worth of $400 million. He is undoubtedly one of the most famous and beloved action stars of all time and the only actor in American cinema history to star in films that topped the box office in 6 consecutive decades. After becoming a superstar with Rocky, Stallone became one of the highest-paid action stars of the 1980s and 1990s. He has written and produced several highly successful franchises, including Rocky, Rambo, and The Expendables. As of this writing, Stallone's films have grossed over $4 billion worldwide. Unlike most Hollywood stars, Sylvester wrote, produced, and/or directed many of his major franchise films. Some of Stallone's highest-grossing films include Rocky IV, 1985, which earned $300 million, Rambo, First Blood Part II, 1985, which also earned $300 million, and Creed, 2015, which grossed $173 million. To date, his films have earned over $4.5 billion worldwide. This impressive figure makes Stallone one of the highest-grossing actors of all time. Alongside other major stars such as Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, and Robert Downey Jr., Arnold Schwarzenegger, another iconic action star, has a total global box office revenue of approximately $4.4 billion, slightly less than Stallone's total. Between the mid-1970s and 2012, just from the films we will mention, not all of Stallone's films from that period or over the subsequent decade, Sylvester earned $300 million in base film salaries alone. After adjusting for inflation, his income during that period amounts to around $500 million in today's dollars. After writing the script for Rocky in just 3 days, Stallone found interest in his project from various studios. United Artists led the charge but wanted to make it a starring vehicle for Robert Redford or James Caan. Stallone persisted, pressuring producers Irwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff to let him star in the film. He accepted a lower salary of $23,000 for the film, equivalent to around $110,000 today. The film went on to earn $225 million on a $1 million budget. For Rocky II, Sylvester earned a salary of $75,000. For Rocky III, his base salary was $120,000. For Rocky V, he earned $15 million. For Creed and Creed II, he earned a base salary of $10 million each. In 1982, Sylvester earned $3.5 million for First Blood. The following year, he earned $10 million, inflation adjusted to about $25 million, and received his first producer credit for Staying Alive. He earned $4 million and a second producer credit for Rhinestone in 1984. In 1985, he earned $12 million and another producer credit for Rocky IV. He earned an additional $12 million for Over the Top. For Rambo III, he earned $16 million. Sylvester Stallone, born Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone on July 6, 1946, in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, is the eldest son of Francesco, Frank, Stallone Sr., an Italian-American hairdresser, and Jackie Stallone, an astrologer and dancer. He has a younger brother, Frank Stallone, who is an actor and musician. Complications during his birth left the lower left side of Sylvester's face paralyzed, giving him his iconic snarl appearance and slightly slurred speech. Stallone spent his early years in foster care due to his parents' tumultuous relationship. They later divorced, and for a time, Sylvester lived with his father in Maryland after his parents' separation. Stallone studied drama at the American College in Switzerland before transferring to the University of Miami. He left school before completing his studies and moved to New York City to pursue an acting career. Stallone's first leading role was in The Party at Kitty and Studs, a soft-core adult film. Stallone later explained that he took the film out of desperation after being evicted from his apartment. He was paid $200 for 2 days of work. His early film roles were mostly minor, including an uncredited role in Woody Allen's 1971 film Bananas. In 1973, he appeared in Rebel, and in 1974, he earned some critical praise for his performance in The Lords of Flatbush. In the mid-1970s, Stallone decided to move to Los Angeles. In his spare time, he wrote scripts. Inspired by a fight between Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner that he had watched, he wrote a screenplay about an underdog struggling boxer with ambitions to become a professional fighter. Stallone insisted on selling the script only if he could star in the film. He held out until he found Irwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff, two producers willing to let him play the lead role of Rocky Balboa. The name Balboa came to him because his Los Angeles apartment was 2 blocks from Balboa Boulevard. In 1976, Rocky was released. Despite some lukewarm test screenings, the film became a global phenomenon, propelling Stallone to instant A-list status and worldwide fame. The film was both a critical and box office success, grossing $117 million on a $1 million budget. It garnered 10 Oscar nominations. It was nominated for Best Picture against other classics like All the President's Men, Network, and Taxi Driver, but Rocky won surprisingly. The film also won Best Director and Best Film Editing. Rocky II was released in 1979, followed by 2 more films in the 1980s, and Stallone continued to achieve box office success. In 1982, Sylvester made another box office and critical breakthrough with his role as John Rambo in the action film Rambo: First Blood. 3 sequels followed the first film. To prepare for both the Rocky and Rambo roles, he underwent an extremely intense workout regimen, training twice a day, 6 days a week, and exercising more in the evenings. He reduced his body fat to a record low of 2.8% for the third Rocky installment. In 1987, Stallone began to experience a decline in popularity when he starred in Over the Top, a box office flop that received poor critical reviews. In the 90s, he released Rocky V, another box office disappointment. He attempted to make films in the comedy genre, which led to critical and commercial disasters with early 90s films Oscar and Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot. Stallone had a brief career resurgence with Cliffhanger in 1993, which grossed $170 million, as well as Daylight in 1996, but by the early 2000s, he experienced a string of box office disappointments and critical flops. Stallone took a 3-year hiatus and in 2006, returned with the 6th Rocky film. He wrote, directed, and starred in Rocky Balboa, which received critical acclaim and grossed $155.7 million worldwide on a $24 million budget. He also reprised his role as Rambo in the 4th installment of that series, Rambo. In 2010, he wrote, directed, and starred in the successful film The Expendables, which shot to the top of the box office during its opening weekend. A sequel was released in 2012 to similar positive reviews and box office success. In 2015, Stallone added another chapter to the Rocky franchise with the spin-off film Creed. Directed by Ryan Coogler, the film focused on Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan, the son of Rocky's rival Apollo Creed. Stallone received widespread acclaim and earned his 3rd Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Creed II, released in 2018, also received positive reviews and opened with a weekend gross of $35.3 million. The 5th Rambo film was released on September 20, 2019, and grossed $91 million worldwide. Stallone has also played Stakar Ogord in Guardians of the Galaxy and Dwight the General Manfredi in the Paramount Plus series Tulsa King. In 2023, Sylvester, his wife, and their 3 daughters starred in the reality series The Family Stallone, which was quickly renewed for a 2nd season. Sylvester founded Balboa Productions, a film production studio, with Braden Aftergood in March 2018. The studio boasts an impressive production catalog, including Creed II, Rambo V, and Expendables. The studio is currently working on a film depicting the story of Jack Galveston Giant Johnson, the first African-American heavyweight boxing champion. Stallone has also contributed to the soundtracks of many films. He recorded the theme, Gonna Fly Now, for the first Rocky and Take Me Back in Rocky IV. In addition to these songs, he duet with Dolly Parton in their 1984 film Rhinestone. He is also a boxing promoter, and his company is named Tiger Eye Productions. In 1974, Sylvester married Sasha Zak. They had 2 sons together, Sage Moonblood, who died of heart disease at the age of 36. And Sergio Stallone and Zak divorced in 1985. Stallone was married to Bridget Nielsen from 1985 to 1987. Sylvester married Jennifer Flavin in 1997. They have 3 daughters, Sophia, Sistine, and Scarlett. On August 24, 2022, reports revealed that Jennifer had filed for divorce from Sylvester. The divorce was filed in Palm Beach County, Florida. Ultimately, the two reconciled. In 1999, Sylvester sold a home in Coconut Grove, Florida, for $16 million. For the past several decades, Sylvester's primary residence has been a luxurious mansion in the exclusive gated community of Beverly Park, perched atop Beverly Hills. His estate spans 3.5 acres and features a 20,000-square-foot home. Nearby neighbors include Eddie Murphy, Mark Wahlberg, and Denzel Washington. Similar homes in the area have recently sold for $40 to $70 million. In January 2021, it was reported that Sylvester had listed the home for a staggering $130 million. By August 2021, he lowered the price to $85 million. In December 2021, Sylvester accepted an offer of $58 million. The buyer was Adele, and this was the highest price ever paid for a home in Beverly Park. In January 2010, Sylvester and his wife, Jennifer Flavin, paid $4.5 million for a vacation home in La Quinta, California. They attempted to sell the home several times, starting in 2014. By 2016, they even reduced the price to $3.625 million but could not find a buyer. They eventually sold the home in May 2020 for $3.1 million. In December 2020, Sylvester paid $35.4 million for a 1.5-acre estate with a 13,000-square-foot mansion in Palm Beach, Florida. The sellers made nearly $10 million in profit from the sale of this property, having purchased it in 2018 for $26 million. In February 2022, Sylvester paid $18.2 million for a 2.26-acre property in Hidden Hills, California. Unfortunately, this home drew some negative attention for Sly in August 2022 when reports revealed that the home was using an excessive amount of water. In May 2022 and June 2022, the property exceeded its monthly water allocation by 195,000 gallons and 230,000 gallons, respectively. To defend themselves, the Stallones stated that the property had more than 500 mature trees that needed consistent watering, otherwise, they would die and become a severe fire hazard. If the Stallones exceeded 150% of their allocation for a total of 4 months, the local water agency had the right to install a water flow restrictor before water entered the property. In December 2022, less than a year after purchasing the property for $18.2 million, Sylvester listed it for sale at $22.5 million. In October 2023, he sold the home to musician John Fogerty for $17 million, resulting in a $1.2 million loss from his purchase price in February 2022. One of the many grandchildren of the late King Faisal of Saudi Arabia. He is a practicing Muslim and committed to sobriety. Tyson announced the founding of Mike Tyson's Legends Only League in July 2020. He established the league in collaboration with Sophie Watts and her company, Eros Innovations, to give retired professional athletes the opportunity to compete in their sport. The first event held under the Legends Only League took place in November 2020 with the Tyson/Roy Jones Jr. fight at the Staples Center. This was the top-selling PPV event of 2020 and ranks among the top 10 PPV events of all time. In August 2022, Mike Tyson appeared as a guest star in the Telugu Hindi film Liger. In April 2022, Tyson made headlines when he repeatedly punched a male passenger on a JetBlue flight from San Francisco to Florida after the passenger harassed him and threw water at him. He did not face criminal charges. In 2023, an unnamed woman filed a $5 million lawsuit against Tyson, accusing him of raping her in the early 1990s after she met him at a nightclub in Albany, New York. In 1996, Mike paid $2.8 million for a 51,000 square foot mansion located on a 17-acre property in Farmington, Connecticut. Located at 50 Poplar Hill Drive, the mansion was built in 1985 by a real estate broker who pleaded guilty to fraud a few years later and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. The house was foreclosed on in 1992 and subsequently bought back by the bank in an auction for $3.5 million. The bank lost out in 1993 when the mansion was sold to another buyer in 1993. That buyer sold the house to Mike in 1996 for $2.8 million. Mike spent millions upgrading the property. He added a nightclub capable of holding 1,000 people, an indoor gym, an indoor shooting range, over 100 phone lines, and an NBA regulation basketball court. In 2003, amid his divorce and filing for bankruptcy, the mansion was handed over to ex-wife Monica Turner as part of their settlement agreement. Turner sold the house to rapper 50 Cent in 2003 for $4.1 million. 50 Cent then spent $6 million renovating the property, adding a grotto, infinity pool, home theater, and helipad. 50 Cent listed the house for sale in 2007 for $18.5 million. He reduced the listing price multiple times over the following decade. 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy in July 2015. At that time, he was spending $70,000 a month on utilities and property maintenance. After several years and continued price reductions, 50 Cent sold the property in April 2019 for $2.9 million. In February 2016, Mike paid $2.5 million for a luxurious mansion in Henderson, Nevada. The 1-acre property includes a 10,400 square foot mansion. A month later, he listed his previous home in the Las Vegas area for sale at $1.5 million. At the height of his wealth and power, Mike Tyson indulged in a car collection that at one point included more than 100 vehicles. His collection included a limited edition Bentley Continental SC worth $500,000, one of only 73 such cars produced. He also owned a number of Lamborghinis, Ferraris, a Mercedes-Benz 500, a Range Rover, and a 1995 Rolls-Royce that he later crashed. Tyson left the damaged Rolls-Royce at an auto repair shop and told them to keep it. One of the most significant cars in his collection was a 1996 Ferrari F50. Ferrari only made 349 F50s, with only 55 sent to the United States. Mike Tyson's Ferrari F50 had the chassis number 104220. The production of this model was completed on February 13, 1996. In 2001, 2 years before declaring bankruptcy with $23 million in debt, Mike sold his F50 to a tech entrepreneur named Kevin Marcus. Marcus was the first employee of the pre-Google search engine InfoSpace. The F50 changed hands twice more before being auctioned in August 2022. It was sold at that auction for $4.625 million.